you're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are those of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Oh, hi there, Pete. Didn't hear you come in.
Why don't you join us?
Set a spell.
That's all right. I wouldn't want to interrupt you.
Well, all right then. Where was I?
General Pershing.
Oh, yeah. So I said to Jack Pershing, General, I said, there ain't going to be no artillery support. They're dug in too deep.
When was this, now?
First World War, of course. The Great War, we called it. Yes, sir. So I says to General Pershing, Jack, what we got to do is we got to enfilade. Know what I mean?
Do what?
Enfilade 'em. That's what we're going to do. Ha ha! Enfilade 'em to beat the band.
Frisbee, when are you going to put that mouth organ of yours out of its misery?
How's that?
Or at least learn how to play it.
Helps me relax. Well, sir, old Blackjack knew who he was dealing with.
And that was?
They didn't call me old Enfilade Frisbee for nothing.
Horseradish?
Huh?
Where do you keep the horseradish, Frisbee?
Right where it always was, Pete. Third shelf down.
Down where?
On your left there, next to the pickles.
You got catsup?
Underneath the cash register, behind the beans. What's your hurry? Come on over. I got another chair.
No, thanks.
I'll put a new log in the stove.
If it's all the same to you, Frisbee, I'll just collect my goods and get on home while it's still daylight.
Suit yourself. Oh, well, where was I? Oh, yeah. Well, sir, the following morning, we attacked up and down the line, and the rest is history. Smashed them to bits, we did. And then we went on to Paris to celebrate. Exactly 4.5 hours it took us. We had frogs' legs and cold duck till we couldn't eat no more. An hour later, we was in Berlin.
Shall I say it, or do you want to?
Be my guest.
Frisbee.
Yeah?
You not only got a pot belly big as that stove, you're the biggest liar who ever sat in that chair.
You're doubting my word?
You can start with that. Beyond just doubting your word, I'm calling you a liar flat out. How can you go from Paris to Berlin in 1 hour?
Find the radishes, Pete?
Yep. What about celery?
All out. Getting some fresh ones in the morning.
We're waiting, Frisbee. How do you go from Paris to Berlin in 1 hour?
Oh, hold your horses now. I'm coming to that. It's what made the whole operation so fantastic. I was doing some reconnoitering, and I found me a back route.
That's very interesting, Frisbee, except last week you sat right there, big as life, and told us you were in the Balloon Corps.
You sure did.
And that over the Battle of Marne, you shot down 3 German Fokkers with a pistol and personally directed the artillery so the Marines could win.
Oh, I did that too. Only it was a year later. It was, let's see now, April of 1917.
That's it. I heard enough.
More than enough. I'm getting out of here.
Well, now you might want to give that some thought, boys. Looks like rain to me.
Rain?
Sure enough, gonna be some rain. Tell by the clouds. You can always tell by the clouds, you know. Take that big job up on the hill. That there is a stratocumuloso opacus.
Anything you say, Frisbee.
You fellas know anything about meteorology?
Don't get him started.
Well, what do you know? Looks like it got me a customer.
Carload full of them.
Better get out there and pump some gas before they change their minds.
Oh, now ain't no reason to hurry. Them clouds, for instance, they like to take their time. So do I. It's the way Mother Nature made things. Why, did I ever tell you about...
The slow-moving gentleman with the sizable mouth is Mr. Frisbee, proprietor of Frisbee's General Store, the local version of Gimbel's and Macy's. He has all of the drive of a broken camshaft and the aggressive vinegar of a corpse. As you've no doubt gathered by now, his stock in trade is the tall tale, the outrageous falsehood, the bending of truth up to and beyond the breaking point. What he doesn't know is that the visitors in the car out front are a very special breed. destined to change his life beyond anything even his fertile imagination could manufacture and embroider. The place is Pitchfield Flats. The time is the present, or thereabouts. And Mr. Frisbee is on the first leg of a rather fanciful journey into a place we call the Twilight Zone.
And now, The Twilight Zone, and our story, Hocus Pocus and Frisbee, starring Shelley Berman, with Stacy Keach as your narrator.
I believe I asked you boys a question.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
About meteorology. Well, I know plenty about that particular subject. University of Wichita it was. Got my doctorate in it. Did a treatise at the age of 13 that still uses standard text. Meteorology and You was the title. Talk was, it was the most scholarly treatise on the subject in the history of the field. My colleagues used to refer to me as Cumulus Frisbee.
Cumulus Frisbee.
Frisbee's a meteorologist. I'm vice president of the United States.
Well, what do you say, Mr. VP?
Better get out there, Cumulus.
I'm coming.
All finished, Frisbee. You want to add it up?
You do it, Pete. There's a pencil and paper right on the counter there. I could do it in my head for you, but it's been kind of a long day. I'm a little pooped out.
1 bottle of catsup, horseradish.
Ever tell you about the time I gave a demonstration, me against the computer machines? 13 of them, lined up in an auditorium. 133 columns of figures, 8 digits apiece, and no pencil and paper, mind you, all in the head. Well, sir, people came from miles around.
What happened, Frisbee?
I thought no one would ever ask.
4 of the machines broke down from overwork.
Not you, of course.
2 come up with incorrect answers, and I beat them all by 21 seconds. Ha ha.
That does it for me. I simply can't take no more, Frisbee, I gotta tell you.
Can't take what?
I wouldn't mind if you was a bright liar. I mean, if there was some logic to it, but daggone, the way you tell it, well, you'd have to be 100 different people living in 200 different places in 12 different periods of American history.
Hallelujah and amen.
Shucks. What are they in such an all-fired hurry for?
Time to do some work, Frisbee. You got customers.
You just said a dirty word. Only thing that works in Frisbee's whole body is his mouth.
All right. Keep your britches on. Howdy, gents.
Hello.
Want gas or something?
Gas. Oh, yes.
Sorry you had to wait.
Not at all.
You know, if you gotta be someplace in a hurry, you could have pumped it yourself.
We could.
Didn't you hear me yelling?
Oh, we heard you. Definitely.
We're not too familiar with this kind of car.
No. Say, how many of you was in there?
4 of us. It's a bit of a tight fit, I'm afraid.
Sure it is. One of them foreign jobs. Not much room inside, huh?
We don't know where to put the gas. We aren't familiar at all with these foreign jobs.
You ain't? Well, this is your lucky day, 'cause I am. A matter of fact, I'm the one responsible for 'em. For a while there was all rear engine, only in the back.
You developed them, did you?
Oh, indeed I did. Got a phone call from old Henry Ford one time asking me to fly out to Detroit.
Henry Ford?
Sure. Well, I did that little thing, and next thing you know, in 48 hours, I went and designed the first rear-engine automobile. Advantages are fantastic,
Is that right?
Sure. All the weight on the driving wheels gives her better traction, eliminating the drive shaft, lowering the whole car. There's a whole lot better visibility, plus the heat and gas fumes go right on out behind.
You're quite familiar with the internal combustion engines, then. That sort of thing.
Familiar with them? Why, mister, you're looking at the granddaddy of the modern-day automobile. Henry said to me when I finished that there designing job, rear engine, he said, that's what he called me, old rear engine Frisbee. He says, rear engine, you're an automotive genius. That's what you are. Well, I couldn't very well argue with him, being as how he was Henry Ford.
I guess not.
Now, where was I? Say, you want it filled up?
If you don't mind.
Not at all, not at all. That's what made this country. Work, work, and more work. Me, I've done more of it in my life, more different kinds of work than most people ever even heard of. Of course, I had more than my share of ingenuity, too. I took this little old business here and made it a success, just like I did for, well, you might say everything I laid my hands on. Gas tank, the gas tank.
Would it be on the other side?
Oh, I knew that. Why don't you boys go ahead and stretch your legs? Take your time. Mighty pretty country around here.
Yes, pretty.
Of course, it wasn't very pretty when I moved in. First thing I did was plant all these trees, hundreds of them. I had to import them from my old friend Luther Burbank. You gotta give them just the right amount of water and a special kind of plant food I cooked up.
This is the man.
Without doubt.
Frisbee, is that it?
Not a common name. He must be the one.
Frisbee. An incredible specimen. Done it all, knows everything, and everyone. All the greats.
Then what we've heard is true. All of it.
Absolutely. He studied at most of the major universities, holds a doctorate in at least 8 disciplines.
A key man.
Obviously.
Water and oil okay?
I believe they are, but I'd feel better if you checked them.
Might as well, long as I'm out here. I'll just open the hood and let me see now. Where's the latch now?
In the front, maybe.
Front? Where? Oh, no, what am I thinking? In back? Of course, where the engine is. Engine.
You're a big help, Mr. Frisbee.
You don't know how much we value your personal attention.
Oh, that's okay, boys. Look here. Ain't that something? They got the dipstick and all hidden away so's nobody can go messing with them. But I can see from here that they're just fine. They're just fine. And that's fine and dandy. Well, that ought to do it.
How much do we owe you?
Looks like $5 and a couple of cents. Make it 5 even.
Did you bring a supply of local currency?
Right here. Which one?
Will this do?
This here's $20.
That what it is? Yes, of course. 20.
I think I got some change.
Change?
In my pocket. Hold on now.
Did we give you enough?
Oh, sure, but you got 3 5s coming back.
That's not necessary, Mr. Frisbee. You keep it.
Huh?
For your trouble.
We have no need of it.
That's mighty decent of you. You folks from around here?
No, we're from
quite a ways off.
Well, if you're planning to drive a spell, I'd check in someplace first if I was you.
And why is that?
Those are dangerous-looking clouds.
Dangerous?
Yes, sir. We're going to have some rain shortly.
You can tell when it's going to rain?
Rain? Mister, I can tell when the humidity drops 0.5%. I can predict fog, smog, hail, sleet, snow, dew, and freezing 24 hours before it happens.
Really?
Well, I was working on a perpetual motion machine in Sioux City, Iowa, back in 1921, when I got a call from President Harding. He was begging me to fly to Washington, D.C. and help him set up their meteorology department.
Is that a fact?
Not only is it a fact, but I'm giving it to you oversimplified, kinda. 'Cause I'm too modest to say what they put on the medal they gave me after I got 'em on the right track. That's how come you have weather predictions on the news.
Mr. Frisbee, we were wondering if...
Not yet. We'll see you later, Mr. Frisbee.
You will?
You may rely on it.
Well, that'd be real nice. Stop on back and we'll sit around and talk some more. But mind what I told you about the weather. Best check into a motel or something till she blows over.
We'll do something like that. Thank you so much, Mr. Frisbee. Into the car now, gentlemen.
Well, you take care now.
Oh, we will. We will.
Odd fellers.
Why, didn't they believe what you were saying?
It ain't that. They just seem kinda odd. Wearing suits like business fellows from the city. Handed me a $20 bill like they didn't know what it was.
Well, how come you didn't tell them you was Andrew Jackson and that was your picture on it?
That's one of the few things I ain't heard 'em claim.
Wait around here long enough and you will.
Well, we'll see you tomorrow, Frisbee.
Yep, see you tomorrow.
Sure enough, boys. I'll be here. Same as always. Let's see now, 5 o'clock. Sounds to me like a good time to close.
Mr. Frisbee?
That's my name. Don't wear it out. Huh?
Mr. Frisbee.
Who's there?
If you walk outside and head east down the highway...
Where are you? Nobody left in this store but me.
If you head east for 200 yards, you'll come upon something extraordinary.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
An adventure, Mr. Frisbee. New worlds to conquer.
How's that?
Worlds even you have never dreamed of.
Say, where you hiding? In the back room? Or over by the dry goods?
Don't trouble yourself. You won't see us.
Well, where are you then?
With you, Mr. Frisbee. We are a part of you. And soon, very soon, you will be a part of us for all eternity. You are going to the stars, sir. To the stars.
What do you mean, the stars? You talking about going to Hollywood?
The stars in the heavens. You're not afraid, are you?
Afraid? Me? Stonewall Frisbee? Dwight David Eisenhower said to me back when I got onto the very first landing craft on D-Day, Stoney, he says to me, Stoney, you lead the invasion. There'll be mines, German E-boats, Stuka dive bombers, and artillery up against you, but you can do it. Well, Ike, I says, I guess if you really want me to.
An exceptional record, Mr. Frisbee, but our time grows short. Will you accept this last greatest adventure?
You mean go walking outside?
It's not far, just beyond the first grove of trees.
Afraid I can't take you up on that, seeing as how it's gonna rain.
Then you are frightened. We had thought you'd be the one man willing to take almost any risk.
That may be, but who, may I ask, is telling me all this?
If you'll walk on down the road, as I suggested, you'll find out.
Well, rain or no rain, I never was one to turn down a little excitement. Who'd you say you was?
Your questions will be answered soon enough.
Well, all right then. Just let me lock up.
That won't be necessary.
Why not?
Because, Mr. Frisbee, you won't be coming back.
Well, will you look at that? I sure was right. Gonna be a big old storm tonight.
Hurry, Mr. Frisbee.
I'm coming. Don't get your long johns in a twist.
Straight ahead. We're waiting for you.
Where?
Look to your right.
I don't see... Wait a minute. What the heck? Oh, I get it. Some kind of movie prop, right? What are you doing? Making one of them science fiction movies out here? Dang if it don't look like one of them flying saucers.
That's exactly what it is. You may come inside.
Now, how am I going to do that? You got it made to look like there ain't no doors or windows.
Very well. In the interest of time, I suppose we can give you a slight assist at this point.
Hey.
Hold on, Mr. Frisbee.
Whoa, Nellie. How'd you do that?
Teleportation, Mr. Frisbee, but I'm sure you know all about it.
Well, what do you know? You got a nice setup in here. I'll give you that. What's underneath all that aluminum paint? Wood frame or drywall?
I assure you, it's all quite authentic. Impressed?
Me? Impressed? With this rinky-dink set? Why, shucks, it looks like a flea on a doll compared to the one I designed for the United States Space Agency.
Oh, we didn't know they had flying saucers yet. Apollo, of course, and Viking.
Well, mine was called a Buzzard. Biggest span you ever saw. And that was back in '51. Old Rocket Thrust Frisbee, they called me.
Please, Mr. Frisbee, be good enough to follow me.
Well, don't this take all?
How do you do, Mr. Frisbee?
Welcome, Mr. Frisbee.
How do you... So this is part of that movie prop. That's it, ain't it? Some kind of Hollywood thing. Advertising a flying saucer picture, huh?
In a word, Mr. Frisbee, no. This is an actual spacecraft.
Ah, go on now.
And we, my colleagues and I, have come here from another planet.
We have indeed.
All this way, across the interstellar darkness, to meet you.
Well, in that case, I'm leaving.
Correction, Mr. Frisbee. You are staying.
Wait, let me loose. I can't even wiggle my toes.
I suggest you stop struggling against the force field and relax.
After all, you're going to be here a while. A very long while in Earth terms.
Why not make yourself comfortable while you prepare to meet the others?
The others?
That's right. The Intergalactic Council.
Well, sir, the government already knew about my research in atomic energy. Matter of fact, I suggested it to them as far back as 1923. Spent a whole summer one time with Al Einstein, during which time I gave him the preliminary stuff about that relativity theory of his. Smart as paint, that fella. Smart as paint. He had bad hair, though. Should have put some Brill cream on it. A little dab'll do you. Anyhow, when I got this here call from New Mexico, I had to hightail it over there and show 'em how to make the bomb.
Incredible.
Fantastic.
What a specimen.
Now, let's see. That covers atomic energy. What was the next thing you fellows asked me about?
If you wouldn't mind, sir.
Go on, speak your mind. You're entitled, son.
Your research in liquid propellants.
Oh, yes, liquid propellants. Well, now, the main thing I got to say about that is there ain't no liquid in the world that'll propel me faster than a dry martini on the rocks.
We were referring to liquid propellants as applied to space travel, Mr. Frisbee.
Oh, them liquid propellants. I get your drift. Yeah, I developed the first ones used by the Air Force in that old whack Corporal rocket, remember? Used to have a model of it out in front of Disneyland. Well, that thing sure could move, thanks to me. Made up a batch of liquid stuff in my cellar. Folks around town wanted me to run for Congress after that, being as how I got the country back into the space race. But if there's one thing I ain't, it's conceited. I figure it's a man's patriotic duty to invent liquid propellants if he has a mind to. And I had a mind to. Why, even as a boy, when I was attending Princeton University on a special scholarship, they used to call me Old Liquid Propellant Frisbee. Next question.
Forgive me, Mr. Frisbee, but you mentioned Princeton University, did you not?
Sure did, young fella. Nice place, too. Real homey. Of course not as homey as Pittsville Flats.
But it was my understanding that you attended the University of Wichita.
That one, too. I can see how you'd get a mite confused. It happens to be a fact that I hold degrees in 38 major universities and advanced schools of learning.
Amazing. What on earth, man? It beggars the imagination.
I also got me one of them Rhodes scholarships over in England one time, but I had to turn it down because I wouldn't bow to the Queen. Next question. No more? In that case, well, I'll just get on home to dinner. I said it was getting late and I have to get home to dinner. Hey, you guys, about time I was leaving.
I gather that you don't quite understand the situation, Mr. Frisbee.
How's that?
You're not going home for dinner. You shall have dinner here.
Here?
Precisely. In exactly, 14 minutes by your measure of time, we'll be departing.
Departing? From where to where?
From here to our planet. You see, Mr. Frisbee, our assignment here was to secure a representative Earth species, the most brilliant we could find. There seems to be no question that your accomplishments are far and away more extensive than any other human beings.
Mine? Now, wait a minute. Now, hold on there. You fellas got the wrong idea. Why, I'm just a plain old country boy, a bumpkin. I'm a bumpkin. That's what I am, just a rube with a big mouth.
Come now, Mr. Frisbee. You do yourself a terrible injustice. We know all about you and your accomplishments.
My accomplishments. Mister, the one accomplishment you fellas didn't pick up on is the fact that I am the gall-darndest liar that ever walked the pike. I spin the longest yarn west of the Rockies, and I'm not talking about exaggerating. I'm talking about lies. I mean lies.
Mr. Frisbee.
Don't you get it? I'm a liar. I ain't got enough truth in me to raise a bump on a bee.
There are some terms that have no equivalent in our language. This word, lie, that you mention.
Dang right, lie. That there is the opposite of the truth. Don't you have that on your planet?
Have what, Mr. Frisbee?
Have a fella that runs around talking the bull off a nickel?
I'm afraid not. We have no concept of this term.
You mean whatever somebody says goes without saying? That is the truth? So everything I told you, every doggone piece of harebrained guff I've been throwing at you, you believe it? And now you're taking me up to your planet so you can stick me in a cage?
Oh, hardly that, Mr. Frisbee. It won't be a cage. We'll naturally have to keep you confined, much as we do the other specimens we've collected.
We've got a marvelously entertaining Venusian. He sings simultaneously in 8 different octaves, and he accompanies himself on percussion with his tail.
Now, you listen to me. I'm a bona fide American citizen, and I got my rights. And furthermore...
Please contain yourself, Mr. Frisbee. Since we'll be departing very shortly, you have your choice of dinner now or later. Perhaps you'd prefer waiting. What is your pleasure?
I'll tell you what my pleasure is. My pleasure is to punch you right smack dab on the jaw. What the...
Don't be alarmed, Mr. Frisbee. That was only a mask, a disguise we use to pass among Earthlings. This is my real face underneath. I hope its appearance doesn't unduly disturb you. Mr. Frisbee?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Mr. Frisbee!
Oh my aching back. Where am I?
Feeling better, Mr. Frisbee?
Better than what?
I thought I should tell you. We'll be departing in 5 minutes.
You still on that kick? Listen to me. I ain't interested in departing anywhere except from you. I never been more'n 50 miles outside of Pittsville in my life, and that's the one record I'm right proud of.
Curious remark. It does not compute. You took a bump to the head. Lie still. I'd better scan you.
Get that thing away from me.
It's only a vibrometabolic scanner to detect organic damage.
Stay back, I tell you.
You're in perfect shape. No spikes in your brainwaves. None whatsoever. Remarkable, I must say, for someone with such active cranial matter.
Man, the last time I saw something like you, I'd been 4 days on a corn jug. And even at that, what I thought I saw was a whole lot prettier than you.
I'm sorry you find my features distasteful. On our planet, my appearance is considered quite satisfactory. But if you prefer, I could wear another one of those pseudo-faces.
This place where you're from, do the girls look like that too?
The females? Why do you ask?
Because if they do, it's a downright wonder you ain't extinct.
Please try to accept my true appearance, Mr. Frisbee, much as we have become accustomed to yours. Some effort is required on both sides. Shall we, I believe the customary phrase is, shake on it?
Don't point your finger at me. What you got there, a claw?
A gesture of friendship, Mr. Frisbee. Hands across the galaxy and all that.
Well, okay, but don't you go pinching me. You're built hard as a crawfish, I'll say that.
Oh, we are indeed, by your standards, which is quite fortunate for us, considering the gravitational pressures on our home planet.
You have a match on you?
Pardon?
For my pipe. Hold on. I gotta light my overalls.
What are you doing?
Helps me relax. A pinch of Prince. One time a guy come in my store and he says, "You got Prince Albert in a can?" And I says, "No, already went and let him out." Never mind. You boys wouldn't understand.
I'm afraid there's no smoking on the ship.
Well, who ever heard of a rule like that?
It upsets the negative ion balance.
No, I really ain't going. What do you think of that?
Well, I suppose if you sit over here, directly under the laminar flow.
Kind of chilly. Ooh. Don't you boys have a wood-burning stove at least? Must get mighty close to freezing up there in outer space.
What's that?
Oh, that? Oh, that's just my old harmonica. Want I should play you a little tune?
Oh, please, Mr. Frisbee.
I've been meaning to give a concert one of these days. Maybe Carnegie Hall or over in Branford.
Oh, attention! X10 and X12. I need you here at once.
Most beautiful sound there is, huh? They have harmonicas where you guys are from? Well, do they? I ask you a question. Do you have harmonicas up there where you
Help!
You don't look so good. Kinda green. Whoa, well, let me play some more for you. Ain't nothing like a little tune before dinner. That's what I always say.
What's that horrible sound? It's that object. Got to get it away from him before it's too late. Back. It's dangerous. Stay away from it. Save yourself.
What's the matter, boys? Don't you like my playing? Boys? Oh, boys! Frisbee, old son, something tells me this is your chance. You better make tracks, and I mean now. They didn't call you old mile-a-minute Frisbee for nothing. Get moving.
What are you doing out of your room, Mr. Frisbee? Mr. Frisbee!
Don't let him off the ship. Quickly, seal the airlock.
No, you don't, boy. Get out of my way.
No. Don't go after him. He has some sort of fantastic instrument that emits a death sound. I've never heard a pitch like it. It's powerfully destructive. We'd best take off before he warns others of his kind. They may have the same weapon.
Can't catch this old boy, can you? Go on, get out of here. Get on back where you come from. That's it. Scat.
Shh, quiet. Douse the lights. Here he comes.
What's going on here? Will somebody tell me what's happening here?
What do you mean, what's happening? It's your birthday, ain't it? As if you didn't know. And this here is a surprise party. As if you didn't know that either.
Congratulations, Frisbee.
Put her there, old buddy.
Well, I sure didn't expect nothing like this.
The heck you didn't. The present. Give him the present, dadgummit. I've been waiting all day for this.
Got it right here.
What are you waiting for? Go on, Frisbee, open it up.
Well, you folks sure sprung one on me.
Want me to help you get the paper off?
No, I can get it.
Go ahead, read it.
What is it, some kind of trophy?
It's what they call a lovin' cup.
Went into town and ordered it special.
Go on, read it out loud.
For the first time, Frisbee is at a loss for words. I'll read it for him. World's greatest liar, Mr. Somerset Frisbee, presented by his friends on the occasion of his 63rd birthday.
Folks, all I can think to say is, mighty nice of you all. Mighty nice.
Ain't you gonna make a speech?
Yeah, Frisbee. Tell us one of them real whoppers.
Like where you been the last couple of hours? Was you inventing something? Or maybe you just took a quick trip to the moon?
Well, you ain't far wrong, and that's a fact.
I knowed it. I've been waiting for this all day.
First off, you know who them fellas was in that car?
Which car?
That little foreign job come in here for gas, remember?
The President of the United States and the Secret Service.
Well, I'll tell you who them fellas was. They was from outer space.
Oh, isn't he the living end?
And somehow or other they picked me up in the air, right down there by the hollow, and I floated over to their flying saucer, and they took me inside, and then they was gonna kidnap me and take me to their planet.
And you was gonna be their leader, Frisbee?
But it's true. They was just about to kidnap me. Wanted to make me their A1 prize specimen. Oh, the whole Galactic Council was watching. They even had a guy from Venus who could sing 8 different ways from sundown and play the drum with his tail. Well, sir, you know how I stopped them?
You talked them to death?
No, not that. It weren't nothing, really. Just took out my mouth harp and blowed a little tune, something like this. You know what happened then?
I'm sure you're gonna tell us. I've been waiting all day for this.
They just plumb fainted away.
Now that I can believe.
Play us a tune, Somerset, the way you used to.
Well, I suppose I could do that, if you really want to hear it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There it is. Didn't I tell you it was going to rain? Sure I did. I can feel it in these old bones of mine. Yes, sir.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Ain't he the perfect limit? Ain't he the be-all and end-all?
Mr. Somerset Frisbee, who might have profited by reading an Aesop fable, the one about the boy who cried wolf. For now, consider this one more tall tale from the timberlands of the Twilight Zone.
More from the Twilight Zone after this.
You are about to enter another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind, a journey into a wondrous land of imagination. Next stop, the Twilight Zone. Hi, this is Stacy Keach. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about our Twilight Zone website at twilightzoneradio.com. At twilightzoneradio.com, you'll find the latest information on these Twilight Zone radio dramas, including behind-the-scenes photographs, plus the newest product releases, trivia contests, ways to contact us, other Twilight Zone-related info and merchandise, plus links to other fascinating websites. So make your next stop twilightzoneradio.com.
Visit twilightzoneradio.com to purchase these Twilight Zone radio dramas on cassette and CD, or call toll-free 1-866-989-ZONE. That's 1-866-989-9663.
Hocus Pocus and Frisbee, starring Shelley Berman, with Stacy Keach as your narrator, was written for the Twilight Zone by Rod Serling, from a story by Frederick Lewis Fox, and adapted for radio by Dennis Etchison. Heard in the cast were Mike Novak, Richard Hensel, Turk Muller, Sarah Marks, Jeff Lupetin, Christian Stolte, and Doug James. To learn more about the Twilight Zone radio dramas and to obtain audio cassettes and CDs of these programs, visit our website at twilightzoneradio.com. The producers of the Twilight Zone wish to thank CBS Enterprises, Carol Serling, Dennis Etchison, Dick Brescia Associates, Claire Simon Casting, Paul Patch, Terry Jennings, the American Forces Radio and Television Service, our sponsors, and our radio affiliates for helping make this series possible. This copyrighted radio series is produced and directed by Carl Amari and Roger Wolski for Falcon Picture Group. Doug James speaking.